Good morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, the world. Great to see you on this fine morning. Coming up on today's show, we have the incredible Mike Heiner, followed by Mr. Steve Bates. Then, last but not least, Emma Dunlop-Waters. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Andrew, and how are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
I've got very short hair
out there.
Huh?
Lovely day out there.
Do you know what? It's been a smashing day. It's really quite lovely. I was out this morning. I don't know about you. I know you were out driving your car this morning.
I was out bright and breezy, getting a bit of sunshine.
No, just gorgeous. So yeah, a little bit of an Indian summer, which is what we need because we didn't get much of a proper summer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So busy times again once in the club, plenty to update people on, and yeah, I think we've got some breaking news.
I'm excited about the breaking news today. Very excited.
Let's hit the breaking news button. Here we go.
Well, what's the story in Morning Glory? I think the story is what's already happened this morning.
It is happening right now as we speak, isn't it, Ed?
Yep, absolutely. Cooking off the wonderful investment lounge. I do exactly what you did.
Sorry, Ed. Go on, hit the button.
Oh, I like hitting buttons, Andy. You know what I'm like. The investment lounge. You can have coffee and chat and talk about knowledge and wealth, and with the wonderful David Lockett. If you want to make some money and keep it in your pocket, have a chat with the inspirational David Lockett about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one. That is. I think that's going to be a really successful club because, you know, we all need to think and plan for the future, and there's so much stuff out there. And David is a true pro. And yeah,
just interesting. Lots of. He's examining things. So you often hear about stuff like investing in options. And for me, it's outside of my world. I have no idea what that means or how that works.
Yeah.
You hear about it on the news, and I just don't know. But you can come along to David, and you can sort of chat to people about who maybe do know, and also speak to people who are actually doing it and investing and finding the differences and actually what works and what doesn't work. And for some people, it might be a risk, and for other people, they enjoy it. And it's just a really good way of finding out and testing the water before you spend your hard-earned kids' inheritance. Gambling at something that you don't know, so it's better to go in forewarned. And we'll chat to Mike a bit about that sort of thing. Actually, a little bit of knowledge can make you a huge amount of money and do really secure you and look after you.
Yeah,
which is why people like Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike and David.
If you don't know it yourself, then Ed, find someone who does know it, and I'm sure David and equally Mike, who's coming on in a minute, know all about this kind of stuff and are there to advise in their professional capacities. And yeah, it's just interesting, you know, and definitely going to be going to that for the first 20 minutes of every week.
100%. And then and then we've also got, it's the second week this week, but speed networking at lunchtime at 12 o'clock, which again, just a really good fun way of meeting lots of different people, bouncing forwards and backwards with the wonderful Kath Kirkland.
Yeah, I went to that. Well, we went to that one last week. That was great fun, and yeah, just a really good way to quickly meet some people, and then you can take it from there and catch up with them afterwards at the Cobra Club. In the Cobra Club, you don't have to go anywhere; it is there all day long. So, a great way to sort of be present and then hang around and catch up with some of the people that you want to. So, yeah, that's brilliant. And the last piece of news, Ed, is Chris Cutting's workshop. Starting tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So anyone out there who's changing jobs, or you might have had your CV out there but not getting any joy, then do check out Chris Cutting. He's on LinkedIn, and yeah, if you're a member of the club, come in. If you're on Eventbrite, find the event. It's on the Eventbrite. You can book it. And come on into the club, and Chris will give you an insight into what you should be doing. Finding the gold, I think he says, about your CVs.
It's so important. It's a really good example of the knowledge base that's at the Cobra Club. These people are, real proper professionals that you can speak to for free. It's just it's an amazing opportunity to spend some time.
Yeah. Well, if you know, like I say, if you know anyone that's struggling to get a job and maybe they just need their CV brushed up, get in touch.
I must just tell you that someone who has a slight vested interest, Beverly Lockett, and by no means a coincidence, the the top-selling Amazon authoress, who's currently multitasking on both the Cobra Investment Club and Cobra Live. How cool is that, Beverly?
Pretty cool. Way cool, Beverly.
And he's just explained the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. That doesn't sound at all boring. No, it sounds very interesting.
I'm missing out.
Thank you, Beverly.
I need to know about compound interest. But anyway, it's for those who are interested, please do come along to the Investment Lounge. It will be up on Eventbrite as well for non-Cobra Club members. But alternatively, join the Cobra Club. Anyhow, Ed,
how do you do that, Andy?
How do you join the Cobra Club?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you go to www.thecobraclub.co.uk, and come along. It's only £25 plus VAT per month, and it will change your business life.
And if you wanted to sort of come for a virtual tour and have a look around, is that easy to arrange?
Absolutely. On the homepage, there is a big orange button that says "Book a virtual tour." You can book it at your leisure, and we'll be there to meet you to show you the ins and outs and introduce you to a few people at the club. And
very cool.
Yeah, it's all going from strength to strength, and it continues to grow. It continues to get better. Right. Okay. Last little note from Beverly. We'd like to say how fabulous Chris Cutting is. Yes, he is fabulous. Oh, there you go. He's helped.
The only place that Beverly's son could find a job in the whole world was in Tonga, West Africa. Tell you what, it's hard to some, isn't it? How fantastic is that?
Yeah, brilliant. Well done, Chris Cutting. Well, let's get Chris on the show next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can find out a little bit more about him. Anyway, Ed, so we need to crack on a bit because we're already behind. Let's welcome the new members in, and then when we come back after that, we'll play another VT, and then we'll get Mike Heiner in. So here we go. Okay, welcome to our new members. I'd like to first of all welcome Nadia Bakir, who's joined Cobra RWB.
That sounds absolutely amazing, Andrew. My mouse has just decided to stop working, so here we go. And I have to go there. Here we go. And I'd like to welcome Rachel Cappuccini, who's joined Quest West.
Fantastic. And I'd like to welcome Mark Conroy, who's joined Cobra Connect up in the north.
Don't forget Anne Fitzsimmons, who's joined RWB HQ.
Welcome, Anne. We need to get Anne on the show. Then Katerina Machalinski, who's joined Cobra Connect.
You get all the easy ones to pronounce. And there's me stuck with the really complicated David Torrey, who's joined Cobra Thrive. Welcome aboard, David.
Hi, David. Welcome, David. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play this VT, and when we come back, we're going to have Mike Heiner in the room. So here we go.
To the
Good morning, Mike.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Good morning. All very, very, very well. Yeah, absolutely. And the sun is shining, so it can't be bad.
I like that
Can't be bad at all.
tea. I get to dance to it, Mike.
It's a very good introduction, I've got to say.
Dancing away to myself is great.
Every time I enter the Cobra Club.
Always got to dance. That's what. But because Andy spent so long talking this morning, that's it. Thanks, Mike. Nice seeing you.
Welcome to the show, Mike. I thought you'd been on the show before, but I don't believe you have been on the show before.
No, I did the Facebook Live one before, didn't I? I think I did that at the start of the year, maybe end of last year.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's pretty much the same, so not too much to worry about. And
things have totally changed in your world, haven't they? So you're a different company, a different man than you were then.
Yeah, we've gone through a bit of a rebrand, absolutely. So we were called Strategic Wills before, and we're now Strategic Asset Protection, Wealth and Estate Planning. Yeah,
fantastic. So, Strategic Asset Protection, what's it all about?
Well, what I do is estate planning ultimately. So we do estate planning and asset protection. We build frameworks for clients to ultimately protect and preserve their assets and wealth that they're creating over their working life, to ensure that when they ultimately pass away, that those assets are fully protected for their beneficiaries, for their children, for their loved ones, as it were. So they're not then lost through divorces and marriage after death and care fees and creditor claims and all these other attackable events that obviously are available, or not available, but are out there, obviously, that a lot of people don't really realise.
This is more than just wills, though, isn't it? This is.
It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. You do get a will, but you also get a framework of ultimately trust planning, as it were, to ensure that your assets are passed on through your trusts and not through just the basic will, as it were, and just distributing those assets directly into the estates of your beneficiaries. That's the key part.
I think people often get it wrong, don't they, Mike? They believe that those conversations should only be with people who are multi-billionaires and live on yachts and have that sort of a lifestyle. Actually, every single person in the UK should be thinking about this, shouldn't they? It doesn't matter how big your assets are. You want to protect them and look after them, and conversations with you get people in the right sort of mindset, don't they, to actually be able to start to have those discussions. So it's not we'd all love to be billionaires, but it's actually Mr. and Mrs. Jones from 22 Lettsby Avenue that we should be speaking to, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is indeed. I mean, most people, still have that understanding that they need a will. So they still come to me thinking, well, I need a will because that's what the parents had, that's what I've been told that I need to get, and everything else. But it's not until you actually start having the conversations that people then start thinking, actually, the will's probably not going to work for me. I want to make sure that what I've created is fully protected. And that's then obviously when we then start talking about, well, okay, this is the benefits of trust planning and such like, and where we go. But people as well, people have got wealth these days. They may not think that they're very wealthy, but people have got wealth within their homes. With the amount of divorce rates that there are these days, if you've just got a simple basic will, then you are wide open to all these different tackle events like I talked about before. The disinheritances are massive by that point. Ultimately, you want your children to benefit from what you're creating over your lifetime. But if you've got the wrong type of planning and anything happens to you, well, then there's a very good chance that that disinheritance could take effect. Yeah. Unbeknown to you, because you don't realise the things that you can potentially do.
Yeah, and I would guess then, Mike, that over the years the law changes and things change, and is it the case of once you have a will, that's it, you can stick it in a cupboard until that day, or do you need to get that sort of thing reviewed? Do you need to get these things reviewed every couple of years? What's the procedure?
Well, sadly, that is what most people think. I did my will, I put it in the drawer, I can forget about it now. But the trouble is that life isn't like that. Your will should be almost a reflection of the assets and the things that you've created over your lifetime. Things happen within your lifetime. You may get married, you may get divorced. You may have an inheritance. You might acquire more assets. You might lose assets. There's certain things that you need to keep reviewing, and your will ultimately is the most important document you're ever going to write. So it's making sure that you would want to keep reviewing it to make sure that it's up to date. That's the mistake that a lot of people make, is they just don't review it. They think, I've done it, I can put that to one side.
I think you're right. There's also that sort of like world that well, I'm not going to die yet, so it's not going to happen to me. And no one wants to think about, a couple of things do happen in life that it's going to happen, and one of those is probably your time will end, but and nobody, funnily enough, knows exactly when that's going to be, or very few people know exactly when that's going to be. So there are things you can put in place that protect your loved ones for the worst of situations, but also situations that can happen to you that can incapacitate you. And those loved ones still need to look after you whilst you're still with us. And because of the state of mind that you're in, means that that they can't. So if someone's in a coma, it's a nasty, horrible, no one wants to think about it. But how on earth do you get access to their bank accounts? It's not an easy thing to do. And so things like power of attorneys and what happens in the event of sort of planning is crucial, isn't it? I'm guessing.
It's massively important. And that's part of the process. I mean, my process is that when I speak to a client, we ultimately take down, we do a fact find, so we ascertain what the assets and liabilities are, to ascertain the size of the estate, what the asset classes are. We then put together a 20-page report for that client, bespoke report explaining and recommending absolutely every single product that's needed to protect and build their framework, ultimately, their debt planning framework. And as part of that, there will always be lasting powers of attorney recommended, because they are so important. For me, my lasting power of attorney is more important to me this is, than the planning that I've put in place for the benefit of my children and my wife and everything else. Because if anything happens to me while I'm still alive and my power of attorneys are having to be used at this point, I'm probably going to be at my most vulnerable. And I want to make sure at that point, because I'm at my most vulnerable, that it's my wife and my children and my family that are making those decisions for me.
Yes.
About the best for me, not about a court making a decision for me, or or the doctors or whoever.
100%. And I want to afford the best care for myself in that position. And it could be that those people need access to things that I've got in order to fund that. And if I can't give access, then they can't give me the best care, and I can't get better quicker. So it's it's a horrid circle. If you've ever been involved in trying to sort out someone's estate, if they, for instance, have early onset dementia and those sorts of things, once people are diagnosed, the duty of protection is with the banks, etc., to protect those people, so they're not going to give you access. And and you can't argue that they're in their right mind to give you access, because the doctors just said they're not in their right mind. So it's a really complicated situation that you can just plan.
People still think, though, because we're married and we've got a joint bank account, well, that's fine. I can still access it, but that's not the case at all. If the bank find out that one of you lost capacity, they could restrict the use of the account or even freeze the account. So, and then that's kind of, what am I going to do now, kind of thing? Because now I've got no access to any money. Attorney is such an important document. It's so, wide in its scope. It's just so important.
And protecting your asset from having to sell it to fund your care at the end, you can do that very cost effectively and very cheaply. Yeah. And it doesn't have to cost a couple of £100. You can sort yourself out pretty adequately. So it doesn't have to cost thousands to get these things done. In most people's situations, it's actually a really cost effective thing to do.
Yeah, the simple solutions you can do. As a married couple, simple solutions you can do about the ownership, the way you own your property. Simple things that you can do to ensure that it's never having to be sold to pay for your care. Simple things. So, yeah.
We've got a comment here from Meenal. Meenal says, definitely worth speaking to Mike. Recently had a one-to-one with you.
We did.
Very informative and also eye-opening.
I think that's the word that I would use as well, as eye-opening. You just learn so much every time you have a chat with Mike, and it's good life skills information more than anything else. It's stuff that you can pass on to other people and help them too. It's not. It's absolutely recommend speaking to Mike. It's super.
The key message really is to get on and get it sorted. That's the thing. Like we talked about earlier on, you just don't know. It's going to happen. You just don't know. So like I say to all of my clients, are your family going to thank you tomorrow for the planning that you have today? Because that ultimately is the situation. You've got to get on. You've got to get this sorted, because if you don't, all you're doing is leaving a huge mess for your family and the people that you love behind you. You know, it's horrific. So I would just say, just get on and get it done, because once it's done, you've got your framework sorted, your planning's in place. It's then just a question of reviewing it, you know, every 2, 3, 5 years, as it were, just to make sure that everything's still as it's supposed to be. You know.
Fantastic. Well, what we're going to do, Mike, I'm going to roll this VT, and we're going to find out something a little bit else about you now. But then after that, because we are rapidly running out of time, then we're going to find out how one can get hold of you and like the process of. So, which button should we hit?
Oh, I think as COVID's lifting, that we should start to be chatting about what we're going to be doing now that the rules are changing. We can start to move around the world and travel.
Okay, hit the button then, Ed.
Oh, all right. Very exciting. Mike, quick question for you. That's a short one.
Favorite holiday destination?
Yeah.
Or, a holiday or a getaway?
You can have both.
Okay, weekend away. My favourite place for a weekend away with the wife, no kids, is Lisbon.
Oh.
Lisbon in Portugal. We've been there probably 5 times. It's our kind of go-to place. You know, the weather's always nice. The food's great. It's fairly cheap. It's just, you know, it's a few hours on the flight. You know, 4 days away, absolutely perfect. So that would be my place. Do
you know, Portugal is the UK's oldest ally. Isn't that one of those funny little things?
Absolutely beautiful.
Stunning place, stunning city, stunning people as well. Actually,
Absolutely love it. And my holiday destination, I guess, would probably be the Greek islands.
Nice.
Anyone in particular, or just any Greek island?
I'd probably say Mykonos. When I got married, we did a 2-stage holiday. So we went to Santorini for a week, and we did Mykonos for a week, and that was beautiful. But
Santorini, I haven't done Mykonos. I've done Santorini. It's with the blue and the white and the castles going down. It's just a.
But yeah, Mykonos would probably be the one for me.
I'd have to do it.
More of an island, and it's just very kind of, you know, just beautiful.
Fantastic. And just quickly, Mike, because we're out of time, but so let's say I'm interested. How do I get hold of you? What's the process? How does it all work?
Yeah, well, you can contact me direct, obviously, on my LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile. You can come through on the website, which is www.stilltheoriginalbusiness.strategicwills.co.uk, or you can email me direct or phone me direct. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Details going along the bottom there. There you go.
There you go. Happy days.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
No
Christina says you're a fab person as well. Look.
Oh, there you go.
She's spot on, right? Thanks, Christina.
Perfect. Look at that. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I'm just kicking.
Brilliant. There we go. What a great interview that was. Thank you ever so much, Mike. We'll speak to you again. We'll see you in the club. And carry on. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. So here we go. All right, guys, when we come back, we'll have next up, we have Mr. Steve Bates. He'll be in the room. So here we go. See you, Mike. Good morning, Mr. Steve Bates.
Morning. How are you all?
Very well indeed, sir. Good to see you. I will explain my outburst. We call Steve numero uno because he was the first member of the Cobra Club. So he has a moniker that is his forever. He has a tattoo on his left arm. Numero uno.
So, Steve, it's been you've been on the show before, haven't you? A long time ago, I think.
I think it was probably September, October last year that I was on. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to have you back. And as we do with most people that come on here, we ask them to, or invite them to tell us a little bit about your background, what you used to do, and leading up to Auditel, and what's that all about?
Yeah, so I have worked in the corporate world like man and boy, really. So 38 years in corporate. I did procurement for BT for about 16 years and bought everything from little fuses when I started off, and even little fuses could end up with £1 million contracts. So I was really excited as a 22-year-old to be buying £1 million contracts. In the end, I bought submarine cable systems, which were like hundreds of millions of pounds of system. And of course, we all know the story about the Sennen Cove Cafe car park that needs to be resurfaced by BT. So I won't go into that. And then after that, I decided I wanted to.
I have to say, Steve, submarine cable, you see, there's two definitions of that, isn't there? There's a cable that you tow a submarine with, and then there's cables that run underneath the sea that communicate between different countries.
Absolutely. So it's very much the latter.
I wondered. I just had this view of you tugging you along. Look, I've got a cable for my submarine.
Yeah. There's a lot of cables out there. In fact, I remember in when was the last? 1995 it would have been, when I stopped it. The view was there was enough capacity in the submarine cable network to meet all needs for communications for the foreseeable future. And of course, the internet came along.
Yeah.
So
do they still use them? I mean,
yes. Yeah, very much so. So I decided, having dealt with suppliers for so long, that I wanted to talk to clients. So I kind of switched roles and was involved in bidding tenders into client organisations, dealing with their procurement teams, which I carried on when I moved to different companies. So the upshot is that I've done procurement on both sides of the table, both as buyer and seller. And then I decided I'd had enough of the corporate world. Let's set up my own business, but I've done it within a franchise. So Auditel is a franchise network. There's 100 business owners within the network, all of whom have got loads of different experience in industry. And I'm one of those as a business owner, putting my procurement experience, and I am also a member of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, which is the professional body for procurement people. And I've been doing that since, actually 2 years ago in September. So I've learned a lot.
What's the overriding sort of, what's the aim? Is it just to help people with their procurement process? Is it to save them cash?
Right, so I do like to talk about afters, the Andy Bounds afters when I talk to businesses. So some of it is cost related because procurement is a cost base with your suppliers. So I help companies reduce those costs, and as a result of that, they become more profitable. So one is profits. The second, and of course, cost reduction goes directly to the profit line.
Yeah, straight on.
And is often a more effective way of improving your profits than increasing your sales is. But although I wouldn't advocate just focusing on procurement, you've got to get the right balance. The next benefit is cash flow. So rather than spending your hard-earned cash on business overheads, typically that kind of are a necessary part of doing business, but you'd love to spend less on them, wouldn't you? I can free up cash from that area so that you can spend your money on things that help your business to grow. So there'll be a lot of other businesses in Cobra Club and beyond that are selling services that sometimes they might meet an objection from one of their prospects along the lines of, we can't afford your service. So what I would suggest is if you get me involved, I can actually look at the wider cost base of that prospect and help free up cash so they can afford your service.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what sort of companies do you work with, Steve?
Well, I have the proposition works for any business in any sector, right? Because all businesses spend money with suppliers, but I have a particular focus. So I look at professional services, so law firms, accountants, professionals that work in an office environment. I also look at manufacturers, so anything from metal batching through to making cornflakes, and also hospitality, particularly independent hotels who haven't got a head office to sort of do this sort of work and have lost a lot of staff over the period of the pandemic, either due to the pandemic or due to Brexit. And I can offer procurement on an outsourced basis to those organisations. In terms of size, I've actually got quite a wide range of business sizes as clients. I've got, you know, a few £100,000 as a turnover, where I'm helping them by introducing suppliers that that can help them. And on the other hand, I've got a client who's £100 million turnover, where I'm helping them across a wide range of services. So, yeah.
Are you finding a lot of work now because people are now having a much more spread workforce and, you know, working from home and working from different locations, etc.? You find that's now raising its head a huge amount more in those procurement discussions?
Absolutely. I think when you look at, say, professional services companies, right, where what I was pursuing was companies that work in an office and therefore have office costs. And of course, a lot of those costs have disappeared during the pandemic. I think people are going back into the offices now, and there's more hybrid working. So some of that is coming back. But it does mean that with remote working, things like printers, so you're in an office, you've got 20 printers in your office, and you're actually paying a regular overhead for them every month, yes, even though you're not printing much. So there's an area where I can help, you know, a professional services company save money by renegotiating their contracts with their print supplier. Also, technology is a big thing when you're remote working, because you've got to make the tech work for people who are working from home. So that's another area that I can have discussions on. Whereas things like office supplies in paper and stationery, there's less of it now, so it's less important to those sort of businesses. And in fact, the energy bill might be lower as well, because there's less people in the office, or the office is being downsized, so maybe it's not such a critical thing for them. So while there are things that are less important, there are other things that become more important to fix.
And those things you need to know what you're doing and need to let other people negotiate for you, really. I think even things like security, you know, the security of your data, etc. And, you know, if you've got a disparate workforce of 100 different people all using different computer systems, all using different, storing their data in different places, you know, it actually makes you very vulnerable. And to look at sort of pulling all that together with your services is a really clever way of reducing your risk. And ultimately then bringing your costs down, because, you know, a data breach for any company is one of the most expensive things that they can do. It's a horrific thing to get.
So, Steve, we all know, you know, you've got a great talent for saving people money, and
I see where you're going.
Everyone can support you. In terms of the talents that you have, we were just wondering, what is your secret talent?
Secret talent, Steve.
You really caught me out there. I did like Mike's question. Right. So my secret talent, I have surprised myself, because we are currently in the process of moving house. But to get the house ready for when we put it on the market, I had to do quite a lot of work in terms of decorating and repairing things that have been allowed to sort of go to rack and ruin over many years. So I have surprised myself at how well I did that DIY.
Right. So Steve, that's the handyman.
Handyman's biggest customer for about a year.
Steve, I've got a few odd jobs. We could use you, if you mind.
I can charge a good fee for those.
Yeah. So just quickly, Steve, because we're rapidly running out of time again. But so how will I know if I need procurement? What are the signs? Will I be sweating that I've got no cash? will people be saying to me, "You're just spending far too much"? How would one know if I need the services from Steve?
Well, I think the sort of indicators are things like I want to be. These are finance directors who typically I like to talk to. I am worried about the profitability of my company going forward. How can I improve the profits? It might be I don't have enough cash. In fact, I was looking at the accounts of a company the other day that had millions of pounds of debtors and had about £2,000 in cash. And I thought, wow, that company needs some help to, turn those debtors into cash at least, and maybe looking at their cost base. Also, time is an important thing. So, finance directors have a lot of issues on their plate, and they will benefit from outsourcing their procurement, because at least they can crack on with their other priorities and not be too concerned about the day-to-day procurement piece, because it's in my hands, and I will come back to them for like the strategic decisions. So we don't just go off and change suppliers. It's a relationship, and it's managed with the client. The other thing that is relevant, I think, here, it's nothing to do with cost or time. It might be to do with sustainability and the climate change debate, where increasingly important debate. A lot of businesses have embraced it, and you look at websites of law firms, for example, and they talk a lot about what they're doing on sustainability. But there'll be a lot of companies out there that will be thinking, how do I start to do my bit on this area? And I can help with starting that journey and drafting up a plan and then implementing that plan, so that you can show off your own credentials in that area. So those are the typical sort of pain points that I find when talking to FDs.
Brilliant. And I guess if someone speaks to you, it's a free consultation. It's no more than a phone call. It all starts with a chat, really. It's there to be had.
Absolutely, and in fact, it's more than that, because I'm happy to have conversations with any business that wants to talk about these pain points, and it also, I can help them to do like a scoping proposal, no obligation at all. I can review their expenditure with their suppliers and then come back to them with where we think we can make savings, and then there's no obligation to continue.
At the end of the day, what's the worst that it's going to cost you as a business? Maybe 20 minutes of your time, half an hour, when actually you could benefit by tens of thousands of pounds. Because a lot of people think there is, like your company with the £2,000 in cash and a few million in debts,
yes,
think there is no solution to their problem. And they could be right, but why would you not find out? Why would you not ask the question to find out? And you might still decide you don't want to do anything, and that's fine. But
I mean, even after signing an engagement, typically there's no fees until the savings are made. So the fees come out of the savings.
That's
so
amazing.
Savings come first. If there are no savings, there are no fees.
Wow. So you let someone else sort your problem for you, or try to sort your problem for you. Brilliant.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Steve. It's been enlightening as always, and great to see you on the show today. And if someone needs to get hold of you, how would they do that, Steve?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, so check me out there. And also my email address is Steve, it's just on the screen now, steve.bates@auditel.co.uk.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, I'd recommend anyone having a chat to Steve. 20 minutes, half an hour of your time. Yes, no, it doesn't cost you anything, and it certainly won't cost you anything until Steve's made you some savings in your business. So
what can you lose?
Yeah, what's there to lose? So thanks ever so much, Steve. It's been great having you on the show today.
Thank you.
When we come back, sorry, Ed?
No, we're just going to play a short VT, Steve, just as we say goodbye to you. If that's all right, Andy?
Yes.
We're going to be embarrassed.
No, I'm going to click the VT button. I'm just saying to Andy, let me click the VT button.
Okay, you click the VT button. Okay.
Steve, thanks again. Awesome seeing you as always.
Thank you.
Who's your hero of the week, Mr. Hatcher?
My hero of this week is Rian Anstey. So for those of you out there who don't know Rian, she owns a couple of, 3 Vodafone stores, and she also runs the sort of Northern Wales version of Insight 6. So it's all about customer experience, customer journeys, and inspirational person. Definitely out there, look after your interests really, and to help your company bobble along, making sure you keep your clients happy, and always super friendly. And a great inspirational sort of leader.
She's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my hero of this week, Ed. And I might like to ask you that question too.
Me?
I'm actually I will ask you that question. So here we go.
I get more music than you. It's great. Yeah. I can actually ride my horse as it goes along at the end. It's brilliant. I'm just loving every second of that. My hero of the week is a lady called Becky Stacey. So Becky Stacey runs Static Airways, which is a video creations company. So I gave Becky a challenge, which was to put together an animated video explaining the driest of topics, which is a test kit for people suffering from depression to see which medication works best for them. And she produced a video that was inspired, beautifully put together, succinct, clever, professional, from the shortest of briefs. And it was just really great to work with someone who is a complete pro at what they do. So yeah, Becky Stacey from Static Airways. Come and get involved. She's a girl.
Fantastic. Well done, Becky. Ed's hero of the week. Just want to say hello to Kate Fox quickly. She says, hello, Steve. Happy to connect.
Okay.
Quick.
There you go, Steve. Connected.
Okay, so I'm going to play this VT now, Ed, and when we come back, we've had the incredible award-winning Emma Dunlop Waters. Award-winning. So let's here we go.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
Award-winning Emma.
Thank you.
So, Emma, award-winning. You're now an award-winning marketing firm, I believe.
We are, yes. We won our first award in May. SME News Best Marketing Agency for SMEs for 2021. So, comes a bit of a shock, but yeah.
That's a pretty good one. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, you're like say you've been going about a year and a bit now, is it?
Yeah. Started in July last year, so just had our birthday a couple of weeks ago.
And how are you enjoying running your own firm?
It's brilliant. I mean, the first year was all about learning and trying to work out what we were doing, because having the business wasn't part of the plan. It kind of just started overnight.
Okay.
Because I got made redundant, and then it was just like, what are we going to do? We'll start a business in the middle of a pandemic, because why not? Got nothing else to do. So it was a case of learning very quickly what we were going to do, what our image was going to be, and it was very intense. And we will work very hard, and we did get quite a few clients, which was lucky.
How did you go about that? Because when you start something, literally the tumbleweed blows across the front door, and and the big wide open world is there. What were the first sort of things you did? It's interesting to hear how a marketeer would approach that problem to get clients. So how did you
it was an interesting problem, because I've always been the marketer of a company. The sales, the business development, that was someone else's job. So suddenly I had to do it, and I had no idea what I was doing. But mainly networking. That was the first thing I did. I just went on Eventbrite and I joined lots of networking groups, including Cobra, which was the best decision ever, to be honest, because I got so much work out of it. And it's just been nice to have somewhere to go as well. I'll jump into reception when I want to procrastinate, and I've got so many referrals from it as well. So
procrastinate?
Yeah.
I think
I
not.
jump into reception, I'm a distraction. So I'm cool. Let's have a chat. So to be honest, that's advice I give to most of my clients as well. So you can do all the marketing in the world, but you need to be doing networking because it's the best way to get you out there.
100%, 110%.
Brilliant. So if I'm thinking about setting up a marketing campaign, don't answer this just yet, what would be the sort of 2 or 3 things that I should consider?
You might even call them top tips.
Yeah.
You might well call them top tips.
I saw where you were going as well. It's just like I'm reading like a book today, Mr. Hatcher.
So the first thing I would say is think about your aim. What do you want to get out of the campaign? Don't just run a campaign just for the sake of it. Is it for brand awareness? Is it because you've got something you want to promote? Are you running an event? And once you've got that aim in your head, make a plan. It doesn't have to be a detailed plan. Just have something in your head, or on paper rather. How are you going to do it? What channels are you going to use? Who is the target audience? That's something that I find a lot of people tend to not focus on. They say, oh, my product is for everyone, everywhere. Think about a niche and then go from there. Because when you first start running marketing campaigns, you can use it as a chance to get to know who your audience are. So it could be that you target mums in their 30s and then find out along the line, actually, it applies to dads as well, and just use it as a chance to learn. And my other top tip as well is if you don't get to where you want, so if you're aiming to get 10 customers out of this campaign, for example, and you don't achieve it, don't be disheartened, because you will have got something out of it. You will have got your brand out there. You've got to start somewhere.
That was
a marathon, not a sprint.
That was sort of took me on to my next question, really, about measuring the effectiveness of a campaign, and setting your expectations. I guess that's, we all want zillions of customers or brand awareness, but sometimes you might not get that in an initial campaign, I suppose. And I guess working with someone like yourself, then you can evaluate what happened. And then I will say to people, it's about, regrouping and then going again, refining. Is that, would you agree with that?
That's exactly it. And have a look at it. If you've got a lot of people visiting your website page, great, that's an achievement. But if they're not converting, then have a look at the website page, because if you're using an advert or a Facebook post to get people to the website, that bit's worked. You've done well there. Then you just need to look at the landing page. Is there something wrong with it? Can you tweak it? Is it too much text? And just take a step back, and don't be afraid to get other people to have a look as well. Get a friend or a family member who fits that target market. Get them to look at it. Would you purchase from this website? Is it obvious who it's for and what it does? Because sometimes a fresh pair of eyes is the best thing.
Yeah, and people are really different. I look at aesthetics really quickly, and if it doesn't, appeal at that point, then I sort of switch off. Other people like to read a lot, so that's the sort of thing they go down, and it's just quite hard to sort of capture, I suppose, the broad public or your business audience out there in terms of what they're looking for. And
I think you're right. I think the other thing is a lot of people don't persevere, so they start with something. And you're absolutely right. But they start with something, give it a go, and it doesn't work, so they stop it. So one of the things that I come across as a salesperson is, and we'll come across it, Andy, when we're talking to businesses, is they'll go, I gave that a go and it didn't work. I had it with someone who told me that telecanvassing doesn't work the other day. They said telecanvassing doesn't work, and I said, that's interesting. Have you given it a go? Yeah, I tried it and it didn't work. When we actually got down to it, how many phone calls did you make to cold prospects? 3.
What?
That's what she'd done. 3. She made 3 calls, and someone told her to go away, and that was about it. Exactly that. And she's, well, I don't like it, and there's a difference. I get that you don't like it, but you have to persevere at something to say whether it works, whether it doesn't work. There are parts of everybody's business that it's fun and why we do it and we love, and there's other parts that are grind, and you've got to sort of put your mind down and actually focus. But you can't do that, going back to what your point is, without a plan. So if you have a plan, then actually you can follow the plan and make that plan. I bet you tell people to make it realistic. I'm going to sell 1 million by the end of next week. Probably not, but that's nothing wrong with having the aspiration to sell 1 million. But let's put a plan in place to actually sell 1. Or actually sell 2, and it's quite interesting when you sit down from a sales point of view, and I'm guessing from a marketing point of view, you get the same sort of things said. So people will recruit Ed and put him in place and say, go on, and I'll go, brilliant. What marketing we've got in place? Well, none, Ed, because you're the salesman. You can make it happen. Well, I can't without marketing.
Yeah.
And it's no different with marketing. Great, I'm getting all the leads in the world, but if you haven't got a good salesman, you ain't going to close anything. So it's that sort of like understanding that all these things work as part of the team. I'm guessing is quite important.
It is, yeah. Like you say, you can have all the marketing in the world, but if you're not doing sales or business development, then
we don't
out there. And you need someone on the phone or doing an event or just doing something to get you out there as well.
It's definitely a team thing, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
So ER Marketing Group, you help to put plans, simple plans for people to follow themselves.
We do. So we've got 2 ways of working. So we can create the marketing strategy for you and implement it and work with you, or we can create the plan for you and then they go off and do it themselves, and then we're just in the background if they need any help. Because everyone works differently. So some people want to give it a go and other people are just like, no, I hate marketing, you do it. So.
Do you know, it's quite interesting when you speak to people like yourself who you're a fairly new start business. You've had success within your first year. You've won awards in your first year. And for a lot of people starting their business out, that's really quite inspirational to see those sorts of things happening. So Andy's smiling. So I think it's important to understand when you speak to inspirational people, what their inspirations are. I'm just gonna ask you this. Who inspires you?
Well, first of all, thank you for calling me inspirational. I've never been called that before. It's made me a bit emotional. But my inspiration is actually a lady called Nell Gifford, and she started a business called Gifford Circus.
I know her.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She literally.
We love Gifford Circus.
Read her book if you haven't. She started from nothing, just literally a dream, and she built this business up based on that dream. And she didn't deter. And we went to see her, the last show she wrote last week before, because she passed away last year. And,
did she?
Yeah. And it was just very now. It's very different. It's not like your traditional circus. It's very old fashioned. It's got music in it, like a live band and everything.
Music and colour and dance. And it's just brilliant.
And horses, which is great because I have my husband with me and he's terrified of horses. I forgot to tell him there were horses in the show and he was sat there, oh God. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend going to see it. But yeah, she is my absolute inspiration.
It's a definite experience, It wasn't just
they had to cancel it. They had to cancel it in Marlborough recently. So
yeah, that's where we were supposed to go. And we got in there. Like they moved it to Cirencester, so we did get to see it. Luckily, but.
I think it's owned Gifford Circus by the sister of Emma Bridgewater, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just a lovely, well-heeled, beautiful thing. I noticed the other day the hairy bikers were doing Mum Knows Best, and they were travelling around. And they were travelling around with Gifford Circus.
Were they? Oh, I did that.
One of those things.
Wow.
Happy days. So Emma, if because we're rapidly running out of time, like we always are, but if I want to have a chat with you, how does that work? Do you do free consultations? What happens? What's the plan?
Yeah, so I offer a free consultation to anyone who wants to talk about marketing or just wants a bit of marketing advice. Sometimes just having a chat, I find just points them in the right direction sometimes. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm the only Emma Dunlop Walters on LinkedIn, so you can find me on there. I also have a website, er-marketing.co.uk.
There we go. Hopefully that's all correct.
Email address isn't, but that's my fault because I haven't updated on Cobra yet. So
Rubbish.
That's my fault.
Will it still come through on that? Will it still come through on that one, just in case?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do check it. I'll put that on my to-do list. State that.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great sort of having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Kate says, "Hi Emma, well done."
Oh, thanks, Kate.
Hi Kate.
Oh, by the way, Kate does say she's saying hello to us as well. I just want to let you know, just in case. Thanks, Kate. We love you.
Fantastic. So I think it's been a great show today, and I want to thank you for coming in today on this sort of short notice and telling us a little bit more about your award-winning business, ER Marketing, and sharing some of your experiences and your expert knowledge, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing a fantastic job, and one of the people out there making a difference to other people's businesses, which is great to see. So thank you so much. Now what I'm going to do, Ed, because we are sort of rapidly running out of time, I think we're going to go straight into the weekly events. So we'll see you soon, Emma. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye.
See you soon, Emma.
Okay, Ed. There's no music on it today, so take it away.
That's all right. We kick off on a Monday morning with me at Monday Motivation, 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock every Monday. Fill your diary full of appointments.
Fantastic. Then on Monday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. with Christie's Virtual Coffee Club. Come along, we're coffee and a chat.
Then you can pop along to Cobra Creative and meet the inspirational Hannah Matarazzo every Monday, 4 till 5. You could
fantastic. Then we have Mr. Zafran Khan, 00 Heaven himself, Mr. Monday Mayhem, Monday evening, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
And then on a Tuesday morning, come and join the inspirational, I'm using that word a lot today, Judith West, who's there 10:30 to 11:30, business networking all through the West.
Fantastic. Then every Tuesday, 12 to 1 o'clock, we have the fairy godmother herself, or the missing piece of the jigsaw, Yvonne Taylor with Tantalising Tuesday.
Then come along and meet Victoria Woods at the Cobra office. You can say to people, I'm at the office, and you can actually be at the office networking. 1:30 to 2:30 every Tuesday.
Then it's over to the Isle of Man with the Cobra TT, with the Titan Troubleshooters, Katrina Ellis, every Tuesday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Great meeting, that one. And then our new meeting that we talked about this morning, come along to meet David Lockett, Wednesdays 10 to 11 for coffee, chat, knowledge, and wealth.
Fantastic. Then midday today, the Speed Networking Business Generator with Kath Kirkland in the Cobra Club. Come along, fun event.
And then come along and do a bit of masterminding with the wonderful Beverly Lockett, #1 and best-selling authoress, Beverly Lockett, Amazon, Wednesdays 2 till 3:30.
Then up to the top of Snowdon Summit every Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. with Rian Anstey, my hero of the week, with Cobra Insight.
And then join us in the evening for the mother of all network meetings, the big guy, the big boy, 7 till 9 on a Monday evening. Bring a drink, come and join us both.
Then Thursday morning, Mr. Jonathan Foy, Cobra Connect, with the business networking event every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11:30. It's Cobra Connect.
And then, as Barry would call it, the main event every Thursday, 1 till 2 o'clock, the Cobra Live Link Up, where Hertfordshire business can network with the rest of the UK.
Fantastic. And then if you're into bowling balls, come along to Chris Mason's Cobra Strike, weekly on Thursday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m, where local businesses in Essex can network with the rest of the UK.
And then join Louise Montblat on the South Coast, fish and chips on the beach, first thing Friday, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock. It's a great meeting.
Fantastic. Then Mr. Shane Yates, Cobra Business Solutions for the full Welsh breakfast, every Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m.
And then join Alan Cadden on the Cobra Express every Friday, 2 to 3:30, where businesses in Scotland can network with the rest of the UK.
And last but not least, if networking on Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. is your thing, then come along with a glass of wine to Wine Down Friday with Sharon Ritchie from Cobra Saltire. So we'll see you there.
See you there.
See you there, Red.
See you there, like Fred Astaire, as they say. What a great meeting.
Yeah.
With fantastic people on today, didn't we?
Yeah, another great one, and just great to hear all the stories, really, and yeah.
Really inspiration.
Yeah, brilliant.
We must say a couple of thank yous. We must just say thank you to, as always, to the inspirational and wonderful Hannah Matarazzo, who does all of our videos for us and all of our content.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hannah, for all the content you provide. It just makes the show even better every week. So
Thank you, Hannah.
big thumbs up. So, Ed, I think I'm going to play out with the traditional join the club and followed by the goodbye thing. So it's been emotional today. I thank everyone who's been here today. I'll say goodbye to Kate. Bye-bye, Kate.
Bye, Kate.
See you soon.
Bye to all of us now. Bye, Kate.
And right, here we go, guys. Over and out.
Over and out.
Toodaloo.
Now you're watching me, yeah, all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surf in the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you approach. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the key. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights of the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what
Now
we
you're
want to.
watching me, yeah, all eyes. Now you're watching